All right, so we are live here with Mr. Rich. As many of you know already, he's like an amazing attorney, and he's here to give us a lot of goodies about how to take advantage of the loans and how he can support us on those tough times. So why don't you introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about you, and let's roll.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks so much for having me, Irina.
Thank you.
And so about me, let's see. So, I mean, first of all, what I do now is I'm a patent attorney. I've been doing that for 26 years now. I've worked with a lot of individuals and small companies to help them to protect their ideas. And I mean, I've worked with a lot of people in the beauty industry as well. And it's kind of funny that, so you started out in law and then you ended up in the beauty industry. And basically through the beauty industry, I ended up in law.
Really? Tell me about it. Like, I never knew you were in the beauty industry, were you?
Yeah, so sort of. Let me tell you a story. So basically, I was studying electrical engineering in college, and while I did that, I opened up a beauty supply business. I started selling to salons all of the supplies that they use. And I mean, I was kind of like a shy 17-year-old kid, but I still managed to walk into salons cold without knowing anybody and start selling and kind of bring a box of supplies and show them what I had. And I sold manicuring supplies and supplies that were used for hair coloring and just about anything you could think of in beauty supplies. So because I was doing that in college, I realized that I wanted to do something more than just be an engineer. And that's what led me on the path toward being a patent attorney. So it's kind of like being in the beauty industry led me into law, kind of the opposite of you, I guess.
Exactly. Oh my God, that's amazing. So you're exactly understand this market. What are those people struggling with? And like, that's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. So I didn't think you knew that before, so I figured I'd spring it on you here and now.
No, I did not. No, that's new for me. For me, it was
Yeah.
exactly the other way back.
So it was meant to be for you to invite me to speak about patents, about protecting ideas to the beauty industry.
There you go. So
Yeah.
tell me, Rich, like, I'm sure that you're one of the best like entrepreneurs and like attorney, and like you've seen a lot of podcasts, and you from a legal point of view, you have a lot of insights and information about all those grants and loans that the government gives to entrepreneurs and small businesses. How could regular Jane that does nails and eyebrows take advantage of those funds?
Yeah, actually, I don't have much insight on that. What I do know is that now is a good time to innovate. I mean, generally in times of change like this, um, that's when people tend to come up with ideas. Some of the best ideas have come from wartime, have come from the various recessions. Like some of the biggest ideas we've seen have come from from those times. I mean, in terms of like the loan programs, I mean, I think that there's a lot of great things happening right now, and there's a lot of great information out there. But I mean, I think really what I could speak to is how to use this time to be creative and how to capitalize on your creativity um, through protecting your ideas and pursuing your ideas.
How would you think that somebody will be able to take advantage of it? I know it's the best time to take advantage of it these days. Like, could you go a little bit more deep on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, one example of just how you can take advantage of that is, so most inventions come from solving a problem. But a lot of times you're looking at a problem that people have been looking at for a very long time.
Sorry.
So because they've been looking at that for a very long time, it's like you're starting out behind. You're starting out behind everyone else. People have been working on this problem for 5 years, for 10 years, or whatever. But when times change, when there's new circumstances, like, so for example, everyone being stuck at home, it's like you're all starting at the same point. It's like this problem suddenly arrives. Your solution, you can be the one to have the solution and take advantage of it. Whereas with other situations, other problems we might try to solve, you're well behind everyone else. So like right now, there's a lot of things happening that are changing society and changing the beauty industry. So all of a sudden, it's an issue of how do you provide these services? How do you take care of someone's appearance when you can't get close to them? That's a problem. That's a new problem. And so any one of you who are you know, in this industry can be the one to have the solution to that. So where before, it's kind of like if you had an idea related to beauty, related to manicuring, related to microblading, chances are that there are bigger corporations, bigger companies that have been working on this for a long time. But now with the new set of circumstances and new set of problems, it's suddenly possible for you to basically be on the same footing as all those other corporations. And if you have an idea that you think is worthwhile, that you think solves the problem, you can get in there and get that filed, get that patented before anyone else.
I think that's really great, especially like right now. Like I was like with one of other speakers before, like I was talking with Perry, like I'm a consumer of like washing my hair for like several years to the dry bar. And right now I don't even know how to pick a shampoo to wash my hair. That's a problem. So if somebody will come and fix that problem for me, I will be like the happiest ever. And I think it's like, it's really the time to be creative on fixing problems that people never knew that they have.
Exactly, exactly. And so that's part of where the opportunity is. And I mean, over the years, I've helped a number of people patent inventions related to beauty, related to
including us.
What's that?
Including us.
Yes, exactly, exactly. But it's funny, like way back, it's over 20 years ago now. I had someone come to me with a beauty idea, and you know, actually, I have a few slides here. Let me just share my slides here. Hang on a second. So, and while I'm doing that, I'll just start telling you the situation. So she came to me and she said there's this unique problem where, I mean, people have hair bands and they use hair bands to tie up their hair, but they're always something that has an appearance that stands out. Like maybe it's a colorful hairband, or maybe it's something that has glitter or just something, but it looks like a hairband. And what she wanted was to have a hairband that just looked like your own hair. So it looked like you took your ponytail and you tied it in a knot. And back then there was nothing like that. And so basically she wanted to solve the problem of how do you do this? And so she, tried to devise a hairband that had like, maybe there was elastic hair. In other words, the hair itself, it looked like hair but be elastic. And so she was searching for all kinds of materials that could look like hair and also be elastic. And she couldn't find anything. And then she came up with a pretty cool solution. And this is something that we ended up patenting. And I will share.
I think that's awesome as well.
So what we ended up patenting, could you see this now?
Yes, we see it.
Okay. So what she ended up patenting was a hairband where basically it was a length of what looked like hair, like synthetic hair, attached end to end to an elastic. And then it's kind of like the way it worked was, click this, you could, the way you put a rubber band or a hairband around your hair, right? You put it around the ponytail and then you double it up, right? You stretch it and then you fold it over and then you fold it over again. So basically what she did, as you can see in the illustration on the right there, is that you're able to then cover the elastic part, like the rubber band part, with the hair part. And then it just looked like your hair. And so we were able to patent this. And then within a few years, she was selling several million units in stores like Walgreens and Walmart. And she did pretty well with this product. And it was just a very simple beauty idea that she was able to patent. And over the years, I did a bunch more. I mean, this was an idea that had to do with when you have a hair clip, you could take one hair clip and basically subdivide it so that you could use it in two parts, I guess, for maybe two pigtails. I don't even really know. Like I'm not close enough to the beauty industry to know how you would use this, but basically the idea is it would be a hair clip that you could then subdivide into parts to use if you wanted to. Another one was a hair clipper attachment where, I mean, if you're doing a fade, I mean, often you're moving between different combs. You're going from, let's say, a number 6 to a number 4 to a number 2. And this was one that was variable that allowed you to kind of move through the different hair lengths as you're doing a haircut. So, just a few examples of how you can take an idea of something that that solves a problem, or you could identify a problem within the beauty industry, and you could be the one that has the solution and then patent that.
I think that's like a really great thing, especially these days that I was saying earlier, like I think they're about 2 weeks ago now, not even a week anymore. I was at 12 a.m. on my hotel room, like pulling my gel from my nails out with my teeth, because I was like, they were looking awful. I couldn't take out that gel. And actually I saw Lauren from the war room. Every single female that I've seen, they was doing the same thing, removing the gel by themselves home, because we didn't know what to do better than that. So I think if somebody will come with like a solution set to remove the gel out of the nail, like that could be an idea like that I'm thinking out of the top of my head right now, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, and it's these moments where the best ideas come from. And again, because we've been going through such a big change in circumstance, there's so many ideas now that are just ripe for coming out, and anyone could be the one to do it.
Exactly. And I don't think it takes a lot and a lot of money to do things that they can help and solve a problem that we didn't even knew that was a problem before this even happened. Like we needed to get locked 2 months in a home to realize that we're not able to, fix our hair and our nails.
Yep, exactly. Exactly. And I mean, do you want me to explain a little bit about how you go about protecting an idea?
Yes, do that, please.
Okay, cool. So let me go back to slides here.
It will remember me to years when I was in school. I didn't know much about patent law in my school, though.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's see. So first of all, let's talk about how you protect ideas. And so if you want to protect your ideas, you want to protect your products and you protect your brands, it's really a 3-step process. So the first thing is you need to figure out if it qualifies, and then you have to determine if it's different enough. And the last step is you file for protection. So first of all, determining whether it qualifies is knowing what type of protection fits with what type of idea. So it's got to be the right type of subject matter, like the right type of thing, and it's got to be the right time. Like sometimes it's too early, sometimes it's too late. So let's just take a close look at that. Now, in terms of the type of protection that applies, it can be confusing, and people get confused between it. People will say things like, how do I mean, that's a great idea. You should, that's a great idea for a book. You should patent it. And that's not true. You can't patent an idea for a book. Or, that's a really cool, that's a really cool idea for a product name. You should get a copyright on that. And you can't copyright the name for a product. That would be a trademark. So basically, though, this is the correlation. So if you're talking about a product idea, then you're talking about a patent. If you're talking about branding, like the name of a product or the logo, then that's a trademark. So branding is trademarks. If you're talking about content, you're talking about the content you might find on a website, like a picture or the words or the wording, that's copyright. So products are protected with patents, branding is protected with trademarks, and content is protected with a copyright. And so again, if we're talking about products and brands, which most of the time that's what we're going to be talking about, we're talking about patents and trademarks. So that's the type of protection. And then it's a matter of figuring out if it's the right type of thing for a patent or the right type of thing for a trademark. So it's got to be the right subject matter. So if it's a patent, then the right subject matter is some type of physical product. Maybe it's a hair clip, or maybe it's a some type of tool that you might use, let's say for microblading. So if it's some type of physical product that operates differently, then that's typically going to be a patent. Also, a chemical composition. You come up with a new combination for a hair care product, that would be a patent as well. And it could also be a process. It could be a process that you go through for some type of beauty treatment, like microblading could be a patent, or could have been a patent back when it was created, because it's a process. And lastly, software and apps. So if you come up with some type of software or an app, that also could be protected by a patent. On the other hand, if you're talking about a word, a phrase, or a logo that you're using for branding, then that's what a trademark is for. So the name Coca-Cola is a trademark. The logo that they use is a trademark. The phrase, the real thing, or whatever phrase they're using right now, or whatever slogan they're using right now, that could be a trademark as well. So basically, just remember, branding is trademarks. If you're talking about a product or process, then that's a patent. So that's the subject matter. That's just matching up the right thing with the right type of protection. And in terms of patents, there's two types. I'm not going to try to get overly complex with this, but basically, utility patent, that's like what you think of as an invention. So basically, when you think of someone inventing something in their garage, they've solved a problem in a new way, then that's what a utility patent is for. It's basically functional differences, structural differences. That's how a utility patent operates. That's what it protects. Design patent, on the other hand, is when you just have a unique shape for an object. So, the shape of this phone or this phone case, this could be a design patent. It's really just about the shape, or the shape of a water bottle, like a branded water bottle that has a certain unique configuration to it. That shape can be protected with a design patent. And now again, the design patent is just for the physical appearance of something. So usually, if you're thinking of an invention, or you're talking about an invention, it solves a problem in a unique way, it's probably a utility patent. So two types of patents. Now again, in terms of that first step, is it's got to be done at the right time. It's got to be the right timing. And most people don't realize this about patents, is that you need to file it before you make it public, or you're going to lose the rights to it. And the way that this plays out is, a lot of times people say, hey, I think it's a cool idea and I'd like to patent it, but you know what? Let me wait and see. If it does really well, then I'll patent it. The problem is they've made it public along the way, too much time has gone by, and they lose the rights to ever patent it. So if you're ever going to patent your idea, you want to file for the patent before you make it public. It's different, though, when it comes to trademarks. You want to protect your branding. You have a name for a product line. You have perhaps a cool name for your salon or your store that you want to protect. You don't actually lose the rights by using it out there in public. You actually gain rights. But you should still file it as early as you can, because if someone else jumps in there and uses that same name on a product in the same industry, you might be able to get the registration if you were using it before, but it's a much more difficult problem to solve. It's much more difficult to overcome that. So you should file as early as you can for the trademark. But again, it's just a different situation, though. You don't actually lose the rights by putting the product out there under a certain name. Whereas if it's a product that you're looking to patent, that idea, that functionality, you will lose the rights if you get it out there and you don't apply for a patent. So very important thing to know. Okay, so now the next step, after you determine if it's the right subject matter, if it's the right thing and the right timing, is it different enough? So when it comes to patents, it has to be what's called new and non-obvious. New means like it can't be exactly the same as something that already exists. Non-obvious means that if there is nothing exactly like it, but it's just pretty close, and the only differences are things that people in the field would just find within that range or would find to be obvious, then it's not going to be patentable. So an example is, so you have a clipper blade and yours is maybe a little bit longer than, you say, okay, I want to make a number 10 comb for a clipper. And maybe there is no number 10, but there are number 8s and number 9s. That would not be patentable because it's within range. I mean, people know they can make they can make a clipper blade or a clipper comb attachment any size. It's just maybe it hasn't been practical. It wasn't something that people wanted, so it's not manufactured. But that doesn't make it patentable. If it's kind of within the realm of what's already being done, then it's going to be obvious and it's going to be not patentable. So it has to be new, so different in some way, and different enough that it's not obvious, that there's some type of leap you'd have to take to get to your invention. And it's not just within the range of how people make things bigger or smaller or things of that nature. And now when it comes to a trademark, when it comes to protecting your branding, it has to be distinctive. So it can't be something that's ordinary. Like something that's not distinctive is when you just describe the product, or describe the service. So it's like if you had opened a salon and you called it cheap haircuts, that's not going to be distinctive enough because it's describing what it is. It's low price haircuts. And so when something just describes the product, like red licorice, you can't trademark that. It has to be something more. And then it also can't be something that's confusing with other trademarks. If it's something where when a consumer saw your product and if they immediately thought of the competition because it's close enough to it that there would be a likelihood of confusion, then that's not going to be protectable with a trademark either. So again, just to review, so if you want to patent something, it has to be different enough by being new and not obvious. If you want to trademark something, it has to be distinctive, and it can't be confusing with other trademarks. And then last step, you file for protection. So once you know you have the right subject matter and it's the right timing, then you can apply for protection. And so the way that works with a patent is you file a patent application, which is a description of what it is and how it's different from things that have been done before and how it's worthy of a patent. And that's what I do basically, is file patent applications for people, explain what their invention is. Then your application is going to be reviewed by the government. They're either going to accept it or reject it. And if you need to, if it gets rejected, you could fight that rejection. And then once it's approved, then you get a patent, which is good for, in the case of a utility patent, good for 20 years. And now in terms of getting a trademark, very similar process. You file the trademark application. It gets reviewed. If it gets rejected, then we fight it. Once it gets approved, if you haven't done so already, you have to demonstrate that it's being used. You can't just reserve a name and get a registration for it and say, like, you know what, I think a cool name for a salon would be Quarantine Salon. And you can't just file for that and get it registered. You have to actually start using it at some point to get that registration. So, and then once you show that the name is in use, then you can get then the trademark can become registered. So just reviewing again, protecting your ideas, 3-step process. Determine if it qualifies. Is it the right subject matter? Is it the right timing? Step 2, you have to figure out, is it different enough from things that exist? And then last, you file for protection. And that's how you do it. And oh, by the way, I don't have my usual, like when you're up there presenting, you have the confidence monitor that shows you your next slide. So I didn't have my confidence monitor, so I skipped ahead here. But I was going to offer to your audience, I just put out this program today. It's a course that describes how you go about protecting and selling your ideas. And I'm giving it away for free to your audience. So.
Oh my God, thank you so much for that. So I needed 5 years in school to understand in like 5 minutes and very strategic how was the difference between um, trademark and between patent. I don't think I've ever seen it described in so easy words. So thank you for that. And I think this is really great for especially this niche, because the reason why people are doing microblading or hair or whatever is because they are perfectionists, and all of them, they are in top of their game on whatever they're doing, and they have like the skill. And I'm sure that a lot of them, they use their own, like cocktail for hair, or like own formula of how to mix in those colors. So I think by people, maybe they are not even aware of the fact that they can, patent those things. I think it's really great that you could, explain it in so easy words, but so clear that they can actually do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that's kind of my thing. That's what I enjoy doing. Um, that's what I think I'm good at, is just taking this complicated, weird stuff and breaking it down in a way that entrepreneurs can get it, and they know how to take advantage of the system, and how to um, and what to do when they have an idea that they want to protect.
Yeah, I think it's really great to, know what we can do, and especially now that people can finally have time to be, like if you really want to stand out, or like I've always believed in protecting your ideas. If you don't do that and the big brands see that as like a great thing, they're gonna go ahead and they're gonna like smash you like sooner or later. So I think it's very important to establish, like we patented our tools even before we were like even having our website up. It took like half year, but when I launched the sugar ice, I knew that I have a trademark, and we finally got the papers like 3 weeks ago or something, that nobody appealed it, and we are like good to go. So now it's like
Right.
good luck, like copying that, like good luck.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So I
No,
think,
it's great. It's a good feeling. I mean, it's a good feeling to know that the thing that you're putting your heart and soul in is going to be protected.
yeah, because most of the people and us entrepreneurs in general, we put our heart and our soul in everything that we do, same like you do, and you support various industries. And at the end of the day, like small industries, we are like the base of the economy over here, and it's sad what is happening.
Yeah, no, it really is. And I mean, that's the whole reason why we have protections like this, is to encourage people to come out with their ideas, knowing that they can safely do so, that they'll be protected. I mean,
Exactly.
it's kind of the basis of innovation, is people coming out with new things. And so to encourage that, that's why there are things like patents and trademarks and copyrights.
Yeah, Rich, I know that you're interacting with a lot of like entrepreneurs these days, that they have like the craziest ideas, and like, some of them, they are blowing it. But like you see different industries all over. What would be your 2 cents like thoughts on, like helping everybody to keep calm, and that this is like, what do you think about this quarantine thing, like how other people are seeing it?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the thing to realize is that people are spending money, and it's just a matter of uh, kind of shifting where you're making your money. I mean, because people are spending money, people want to spend money, people stuck at home want to spend money. I mean, mentioned Perry Belcher. Perry Belcher says that like um, people have a very strong habit of consumerism, in that like people just are itching to spend money. And he gives the example of like when you go on a cruise, that like by the fifth or the sixth day, they have these art sales where people are buying paintings for $3,000, $5,000. People who've never bought a painting before. It's just they've been stuck on a cruise for 5 days, and they just want to buy something. They're just so used to just buying that it gets to the point where they'll buy anything. So just keep in mind that there are people that are in the habit of spending money. They're looking to spend money. There are people that have new needs, that they're just looking for a solution. So there are absolutely opportunities, and it's a matter of creativity. It's a matter of being creative, seeing seeing the problem that probably many other people are seeing, but having your solution. And so there is an opportunity, and just that the habits are shifting around. So you just have to be creative in finding the new way that you're going to make a living, the new way that you're going to make money.
Yes, I think that's really powerful to, be creative and use this time and do not take it for granted and actually use it for like a positive cause and, do something that you'll thank yourself in 5 years from now.
Yeah, exactly. And to consider the fact that with all this extra time, I mean, think of all the things that we said we just didn't have time for before. Now all of a sudden we have all this time. So it's kind of time to put up or shut up. Use your time to do that thing that you've said that you just didn't have time to do before.
Guess what? Now you have all the time in the world. You can't use the thing, like there are a lot of like people say like, oh, I have to run right now in a meeting. I'm stuck in the traffic. There are no excuses anymore. You're not stuck in the traffic. You don't have time for this. Then I guess where do you need to show up for like watch Netflix? It's gonna be
Exactly.
later.
Exactly. And I didn't give the address before for that program. If you want to learn about how you protect your ideas, like I said, I put together this program that I'm now giving out to your audience for free. And I created an address to it, which is, let me put it back up on the screen there for a second.
Let me see it, and I will post it as well in the live where we are streaming in our community.
And yeah, and it's patentingyourproduct.com. If you go there, you can just sign up for the product, except you don't have to put your credit card in. There's no place to put your credit card in because that link is a link to get that course for free.
I just posted over here. Thank you so much for sharing that with the audience. I think even though like some people they are not really creative, I'm sure that in this community we do have a lot of people that they could see the use and they actually see themselves coming up with something innovative on the market. So I think it's great that you actually did that, and thank you for sharing it for free.
Yeah, my pleasure. And chances are they already have come up with something. I mean, most people that I speak to do have something in mind. And I guess the question is to learn about the process and begin to evaluate whether that's the right thing to be doing. Like is this idea the one that you should be pursuing? Or maybe once you learn more about the process, you say, well, this might not be the best one. Maybe I'll wait till the next one. But that's the value of learning about it, is being able to know whether now's the time or whether it's maybe the time would be later.
I think I have like 5 ideas a day, every single day. If somebody never had an idea in their life to do something for themselves or to create something for this earth, like I have no words for you. Like I'm sure you had that idea. Like if you don't have an idea, you're like I am speechless right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Some of them could be good, some of them they're bad, probably 9 of them they're bad, but at least if one is good out of like 10, then you have a winner. There you go. So
exactly. And just in terms of the protection side, remember, this is the process for evaluating them. Is you want to figure out, does it fit? First of all, does it fit as something that could be a patent or something that could be a trademark? Or is it or does it not fit? And then like, is it different enough? So that's once you begin to look through that lens, then you could start to filter out some of those ideas as well.
I agree. Like maybe speak with your friend and ask them, hey, what do you think about this idea? And just don't ask one person. Ask 5 different persons that they are like not related with each other, and they are all care about you as a human being, but some of them will not, like comfort you. They will tell you, oh, I think this is a stupid idea, or I think this is a wonderful idea. You want to see different points of view before you pursue it. But I think if you have an idea and you believe in it, I've seen people making money from bottling air. So here is that. Like literally there is a multi-million-dollar company in Canada. They are making money by bottling air. So like
Yeah, exactly, and it's just a matter of seeing where the opportunities are. When you think that you have something that other people will want, that other people will value, then take a close look at that. Oh, and by the way, just with regard to the course too, if, any of your audience wants to share it with their groups or their audience, that's fine.
that would be great, guys, if you could
Yeah.
share. And if you know somebody, your boyfriend, your sister had an idea about creating something, I think Rich is like a big pile of like so much knowledge and can help you guys. And
A big
probably,
pile of something.
yeah. Well, English is my fifth language, so here is that. And also, I don't think I've seen a more reasonable priced lawyer in the entire United States since I moved here and I'm in the business. So this
Yeah.
guy is on the market generally because he loves people and because he loves to be an amazing human being. He's not here for the money. So like he's here just because he wants to help as many people as he can, and he always bring value on wherever he interacts with people. So thank you for that.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. I think that's really the underlying principle for entrepreneurs in general is just you got to look toward providing value first, and the money follows. So, the most successful entrepreneurs out there, uh, that's their filter. That's their way of seeing the world and knowing what actions to take. Is they walk into a room and they look to create value, and then once you create value in a way that's just unquestionable, then the money follows. So yeah, I think I'm trying to follow in the footsteps of some really great people by creating value like that in the way that you say that I do, and I appreciate that.
I think you're one of the amazing human beings that I ever met. I know your time is really valuable, so I know you're 3 hours ahead of us. But thank you so much, Rich. If anyone wants to reach out to you, where they can find you?
Well, you could, if you want to learn more about the process, in addition to the course that I gave you the link to, you can check out our website, which is goldsteinpatentlaw.com. And also, I've got a podcast called Innovations and Breakthroughs, and I interview some really great people that have taken a path toward getting a product out there, path toward innovating their ideas. And again, the podcast is called Innovations and Breakthroughs. So check that out, subscribe to that, and I think that about covers it.
Thank you so much, Rich, and I will talk to you soon.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks so much, Irina.
Bye.